It's easy to see a person or situation and instantly try to assume what's going on through our own lens of life, what our own story tells us about the world. What's the old adage? When you assume, you make an ass out of you and me. I mean, just log on to Facebook. You see one person that sees one line of information and boom, all of a sudden they've made up this total backstory purely based off of their own perspective. Today's stranger works with people that are down and out on their luck, and she has a great reminder to us all. What we see isn't always the entire story. Hi, I'm Matt Hayes, and this is episode number 28 of Meet a Stranger. Today's another virtual stranger conversation I had with someone a few weeks ago, someone that I've known on Facebook for years. She took a chance in her early 20s and left where she grew up and moved to New York City. But after talking about that for a moment, we talked a bit more about the social work she does with people. Her insight into what people see and hear versus what actually happens, how the world works, will really open your eyes. And she had one little request, that if we all embraced, this world could be such a better place. Take a listen. What do you think has been a defining moment in your life that you look back at now and realize that whether you personally changed or your life changed from a certain moment onward?
Probably deciding to leave my hometown and move to the New York City area when I was 25 was probably the thing that really upended most everything in my life and really made some significant changes with how things went for me.
You don't have to get into detail about your work, but I know you work with people pretty much in your line of work. What is it that you think you wish the world knew about the people you work with, or things that you have learned from your work that the world would just understand or listen or embrace?
For the clients I work with, there's this picture of people who need human services, that they're grifters, they're inept, they're mentally ill, they're just losers. And I mean, it comes out in so many of the discussions, especially like this election year. Well, if people are in Rikers, they should have to be in Rikers. And why, what is this cashless bail thing? People don't have empathy to understand that just because you're doing okay and you were able to climb up the ladder, it doesn't mean everybody can. For some people, the ladder is there, but the rungs are a lot farther apart. Over time, it has been increasingly more and more difficult for people to succeed. So when older generations look at the younger generations, or people with privilege or advantage who have people to help them up the rungs are looking at others and saying, well, I did it, why can't they? They don't recognize just how much steeper it's gotten and how upward mobility has become so much more difficult now. So you can get a college degree, you can get a master's degree, you can get a good job, and you can still not afford to buy a house, which then affects you economically in so many other ways. So that's something I wish people understood about my clients. These are people who are trying to do their best, and the lack of empathy for folks who aren't doing as well is kind of crushing. To bring it back to the Rikers thing, the people who are saying, well, there should be no cashless bail, don't have a clue about what it would be like to be a young Black man picked up on a street corner on some whatever charge, and the cops put you in Rikers, and you're sitting there waiting for your chance to say what the truth is, to have your trial. And you may very well be innocent, but you're stuck in Rikers because your family can't make bail. People can't understand that could, if that were you, and your family couldn't come up with the money and they couldn't come up with a bail bondsman, would you want to sit in Rikers for 18 months waiting for your first hearing? It's not going to happen to me. They wave some of that away. So that's some of the stuff I feel bad about when people are talking about the people that I work with in human services. But just in general, the lack of empathy, the lack of understanding, the quickness to make a judgment on somebody based on one behavior, the cancel culture. There's no giving any sort of look at what a person's intent might be. We all fuck up on a regular basis. Every single one of us. We will stick our foot in it at least once a week. And it's only because the people around us either know us or are willing to give us grace that we don't get into more problems than we do. There needs to be some more of that. There needs to be okay, you just did something really, really bad, but what were you intending to do? Instead, everyone just assumes evil intent. Because somebody just cut me off, I assume that they are an asshole driver, as opposed to they were distracted because they're worried about their sick mother and they almost missed their exit. That quickness to judge, and I am equally guilty of this as everyone, but just that not extending grace has gotten so bad. And you see it on Facebook, you see it on Twitter, you see it in people's interactions at the store and on the road. And we need to kind of get back to that recognition that we are all humans trying to do our best in this crazy planet, and trying to make our way through and extend a little grace to the people around you.
I mean, yeah, life would be so much easier if we could just take a look at someone and there'd be like a fact sheet that automatically shows up with all the information, every element about their life, and then we can make a decision about what is going on, but that doesn't happen. We don't know the whole story. And people have stories that they make up in their head and that they really want to be true because of their cognitive bias, because of what they believe in their own circles. How much better would our world be if we just had a little bit of empathy, and not just for our family and our friends and the people that are closest to us, but the strangers we meet, the neighbor we don't know, that person standing next to us in a line. Think about that today when you're out dealing with humans. How can you just add a little bit of empathy when you're dealing with somebody today? If there's somebody that stands out to you after hearing that, I'd love to know who it is. I'd love to hear your story. Slide into my DMs on Instagram and let me know. @GoMeetAStranger or my personal account @MattHayes. And thanks so much for taking a minute to meet a stranger today. Until next time, I'm Matt Hayes. Onward. It's easy to see